From the humble Beetle to this, Volkswagen has come a long way. Hi guys, Eric here and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be having a look at a 2015 Golf 7R. The R is powered by a 2-litre turbocharged FSI petrol engine, producing 206 kilowatts and 380 Nm of torque. It is a beast. A beautiful beast at that. With the exception of the Mark II Golf GTI 16 valve, this, to me, is the prettiest Golf ever. And it is really clever. An ESC system that can be disengaged fully, optional dynamic chassis control, as well as a 5th generation Haldex 4-wheel drive system makes this car a very sharp tool indeed. If we go down the R's lineage, we arrive in 1988 with the Mark II Golf G60. It was powered by a 1.8 supercharged inline-4, producing 118 kilowatts and 225 Nm of torque, and launched the Golf from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 8.3 seconds. A year later, in 1989, VW released the ultra-rare G60 Limited. Same engine, but tuned to 154 kilowatts and 252 Nm of torque. A masterpiece, sure, but production was too limited to be taken seriously. In 1992 and 1994 in the United States, we received the Mark III VR6 2.8, the first proper ancestor to the modern R. The 2.8 V6 produced 128 kilowatts and 235 Nm of torque to its front wheels via a 5-speed manual gearbox. It used ventilated front disc and rear disc brakes. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour was taken care of in a brisk 7.8 seconds, and it had a top speed of 224 kilometers an hour. In 1994, the Mark III VR6 2.9 was released. It produced 140 kilowatts and 245 Nm of torque. It also had a 5-speed manual gearbox, but it was different by way of its all-wheel drivetrain. 0 to 100 took 7.5 seconds, and it had the same top speed as the 2.8 with 224 kilometers an hour. Production of the 2.9 ended the same time as the 2.8 in 1997. Jump forward to 2003, or 2004 in the USA and Australia, Volkswagen introduced the Mark IV R32. Its engine was a 3.2 double overhead cam VR6, producing a not-so-shabby 177 kilowatts and 320 Nm of torque. Power was sent to all wheels via an on-demand 4-wheel drive system. You had a choice between a 6-speed manual or, for the first time on a production car, a double-clutch gearbox. The R32 also featured independent rear suspension and an electronic stability program, a must-have on such a powerful family car. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour took a brisk 6.6 seconds for the manual and an even faster 6.4 seconds with the DSG gearbox. Only 2 years after the Mark IV R32, Volkswagen released its replacement, the Mark V R32. It used basically the same engine as its predecessor, albeit with a new inlet manifold, which upped the power to 184 kilowatts and 320 Nm of torque. Top speed was electronically limited to 250 kilometers an hour, and 0 to 100 was reached in 6.5 seconds for the manual and 6.2 seconds for the DSG variant, even though the Mark V was 40 kilograms heavier than the Mark IV. The Mark VI was the first Golf to be named the R. Originally it was penned R20, but VW dropped the digits. It received the same basic 2-litre inline-4 TFSI engine used in the Mark VI GTI, and for that matter the Mark V GTI, but heavily tuned to reach a peak output of 199 kilowatts and 350 Nm of torque. But for warmer climates, power was dropped to 188 kilowatts and 320 newton meters in favor of a beefier intercooler. The 0 to 100 time remained the same though, at 5.5 seconds for the DSG model. It gained a revised full-motion all-wheel drive system as well, that could send up to 100% of available torque to the rear wheels. When the Mach 7 Golf was released, I personally thought it was the prettiest Golf I've seen in years. I especially loved its sharper, more sculpted lines and thin rear light clusters. But in the R form, oh my gosh, so beautiful. Let's have a closer look. Let's just get one thing out of the way first. The Golf R's cabin is a bit bland. Beautifully made and fantastic materials used, but bland. Which is interesting considering the exterior strikes a great balance between understated and ostentatious. But look a bit deeper and you can see just how much thought has been put into the design of this cabin. And it makes sense. Beneath the skin, this is Volkswagen's single best-selling model, so there's a lot invested in its design. One of my favorite details in the cabin are its dials. I love the backlit white on black digits and the R-specific blue needles. I also love the way the white of the rev counter melts into the red of the rev limiter. It is super easy to read, it is model specific, and it elevates the general experience of owning a Golf R. Next up is this aggressive leather-clad flat-bottom steering wheel. I particularly enjoy this oversized VW logo in the middle and this trendy black piano plastic trim. Then there is this beautiful blue mood lighting available on the door trim as well as the door sills. At night, it looks gorgeous. The switches are accentuated by a thin strip of brushed aluminium. It makes a huge difference in its appearance, but also it is an absolute joy to push. Oh my gosh, I love buttons. In the Golf though, there aren't too many, so when you first get acquainted, you won't feel too overwhelmed. Volkswagen is well known for, amongst other things, its build quality, and the Golf R is no different. Everything feels solidly put together, and it gives you the impression that it will last a lifetime. The doors are also nice and heavy and close with an audible thud. Once closed, there is a great sense of isolation from the outside world, something that is particularly important in a premium product. Storage is fantastic. The glove box is big enough, if not massive. There are huge door pockets front and rear. You get 2 front cup holders that can be covered when not in use. There are 2 rear cup holders in the leather-clad center armrest. There's also a lovely damped storage compartment underneath the climate controls that houses the auxiliary and USB connections to the very capable stereo. Another small but deep compartment underneath the center armrest, and yet another closable compartment next to the steering wheel. A Volkswagen trait I love is that most storage compartments are either lined with felt or a soft material. This does a great job of mitigating rattles while driving. The center armrest can also move forward and backward for extra driving comfort. Following the theme of space, the boot is on par with its rivals. It also features tethering hooks, a grocery hook, and a rear parcel shelf. The rear seats can fold completely flat in a 60-40 split. This makes way for a continuous loading bay without any annoying ridges. You also have a ski hatch behind the center armrest for when you're carrying 2 rear passengers. Another great addition is a space-saver spare wheel underneath the boot floor. Okay, now that the practicality is out of the way, what is the driving experience like? It's fast. It's fast. This engine is phenomenal. It produces 206 kilowatt, which is amazing, but it is the way that it puts its power down that is truly fantastic. 5th generation Haldex 4-wheel drive system combined with the quickest acting gearbox I've ever come across makes you feel untouchable. I had a 2011 Volkswagen CC with a DSG gearbox, and truthfully, I hated it. It was extremely slow to respond, and pullaways were always sluggish. Boy, have they worked their magic with this one though. Currently, I'm in 6th gear, gearbox in comfort mode. I put my foot down, 3rd. How does it do that? It is magic. This gearbox is lovely. The gearbox is the highlight of the Golf R. The suspension is firm, no doubt about it, but it is very well dampened, which means you get a great sense of security from behind the wheel. I wouldn't call it uncomfortable by any means. The suspension can become unsettled on continuous road imperfections, i.e. corrugated iron patches, but it never floats. The seats are also nice and supportive, so long distance cruising won't be a problem at all. There doesn't seem to be a trade-off while driving around town either. With the exception of quite a wide turning circle, every component works together to make navigating this car as easy as possible. One of my favorite features is called auto hold. When you arrive at a robot or a traffic light, you can take your foot off the brake pedal while the car is in drive. It will not move until you put your foot back on the accelerator. I can't tell you how convenient that is in rush hour traffic. And it also doubles as heel hold assist. Out on the twisties, and the experience is great, if not perfect. There is loads amount of grip available, so it does put a smile on your face when you chuck this thing at corners in ludicrous speeds. The brakes do a great job of slowing you down when entering corners, and the gearbox and engine work together beautifully to push you back out. But there is a slight sense of drama when driving the Golf R. It feels a bit too safe. Not that it's not fun, not by any means. In fact, if this is your first hard hatch, I will definitely say buy this one. I'm just saying that it isn't the most fun I've ever had in a car. With the exception of an interior that errs on the safe side and a driving experience that follows suit, Volkswagen has made a great all-rounder with the Golf 7R. It is fantastic at cruising, it is a capable town runabout, it is very practical, super fast and super safe, and that is exactly what people want from hot hatches. A fast, beautiful, safe hot hatch. Well done, Volkswagen. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. If you enjoy them, please remember to subscribe to my channel and like the video. You can also comment in the section to tell me if there's any other cars you would like to see and if you have a car that you would like me to review. I live in the Western Cape area of South Africa, so please keep in touch. I have loads more coming up for you guys, so stay tuned. Until next time, bye.